party atmosphere. Chris Doran-Huang Jungang, second semi-final. It will be Wang Shibo to play in the final, the winner of the Asian qualifier in the other semi-final. So he's now the finalist, but in front of us, Huang Jungang is in Chris's way. He's got to take down 2 Chinese players to win the championship. And what a great crowd pleaser Chris is. The crowd's gone bonkers and they've only played 1 point.
Interesting return of serve, that, wasn't it? It got a fast topspin serve and he just came in and chop-blocked it straight off the bounce. Really awkward for Huang.
I think that's really important when you play the best Chinese players in the world. They're so good, you know, playing the predictable way, playing fast on the diagonal, and you have to change out of that game. If it's their practice mode, you've got no chance.
Yeah. And as we know, if you do regular footwork practices in table tennis, lines and diagonals is much harder when you're doing the lines. You have to cover more ground. It's a more difficult shot to play because it's a shorter distance to the end of the table and off the end. But the crowd here, a large majority of the crowd here getting behind Chris, but a very, very enthusiastic and noisy contingent from China supporting Huang. 2 points all. You can see the drums on the far side. We'll hear those, I'm sure. That's a beautiful backhand down the line from Chris. Forehand down the line as well. Huang managed to tame him in that one.
Huang's got a fantastic backhand serve as well that was causing huge problems for Fleming in the last 16 match. The way that he's able to just contact the ball, you know, just millimeters above the white line to accelerate through the ball.
Yes, and to make the ball kick, especially long down the diagonal.
This is the shot, isn't it, from Chris? That big, powerful backhand. If that's flowing, that's what wins him this match. Yeah. Convinced of that.
I love that follow through. Accelerating through the ball. Just getting a bit of brush on the ball. So not hitting the back of the ball, he's just brushing the back and top of the ball. Getting the top spin that's possible. Lots of top spin there from Chris. Amazing. How do you make a winner from that distance?
Oh, it completely fooled me. I thought this backhand's coming down the line again. And you see, just this next one goes the other way. I was convinced he was going down the line there.
Hit him straight in the body. Great body shot. Chris tried it a bit too much there.
He tried to go the other way, didn't he? He tried to make it look like he was going to the backhand and switch the other way.
And with a modern sponge bat, that would have gone on because it would have connected onto his bat. But with these bats, the ball slides off if you try and side spin it too much.
I tell you though, hats off to Chris early doors for reading the Huang service, because we've seen so many players in the first set against Huang getting off to a slow start.
Yeah, so let's see that backhand service again. Chris is not having any trouble with the serve, getting into the rally against the serve quite happily.
What a screamer!
I can't believe that. 2 brilliant backhands across court in the last 3 points. I've never seen Chris play with this level of authority.
He had a fantastic training build-up to this, where he went out to Germany to hit with Alexander Fleming, and I'm sure that meant the world of good to him. 5 or 6 intensive days of training was exactly what he needed.
Yeah, spins that one up, and the slower ball catching Huang out. So Chris is so good at change of pace. There, a low ball to the forehand, higher ball, greater flight there to the long to the backhand. And as is sometimes the case, the Chinese players struggle a little bit if you can play with change of pace, change of height. They like the variation less than some of the top European players.
Oh, such a clever forehand that. He really could put some extra height into it. It's a horrible shot, isn't it, Gavin, when it's bouncing high into your backhand.
You see a lot of the better players here, when the ball comes up, you've actually got to wait for it to come back down to net height. If you do that, you've got more chance then to connect and get the ball on. When you take on the shots from a bit higher, actually the trajectory is not right to put the ball on.
Yeah, with that topspin, it doesn't come down so quick, does it?
Doran's picking the ball off the net, so when the other player hits the top of the net and it comes over, he's able to take one giant step in if he needs to and pick the ball up, keep it low and maintain his position in the rally 50-50. A lot of players, the ball hits the net, they don't reach it and it's big trouble. But let's see that Chinese crowd getting behind Huang, and they're being matched by Chris Doran's supporters. Great drumming.
Really staying closer than I've seen him before as well, taking that backhand quite early and still producing the power. Fantastic.
Into the crossover, wide of the forehand, into the backhand. Huang tried to counter that with a fast one, but he's not up to this level of power.
I spoke to Andrew Bagley after his quarter-final match with Chris Doran, obviously very disappointed, but he said hats off to Chris. On that very sporting manner that Andrew has, he said, just too good on this occasion.
I was sitting there in the crowd watching it, and we were all just saying there's absolutely nothing Andrew can do about this. It was phenomenal, and he's not far below that here.
Again, Chris copes with the net cord against him.
7-10.
But unable to unwind himself from the disadvantage in that rally. Has a look at Dennis Neal, England international from the 60s, 70s and 80s. He's keeping Chris closely to account for what he's doing on this table. That's the Chinese Phil Collins. Maybe not quite as talented, but certainly louder. Brilliant atmosphere now. Let's serve, take it again. Go, Chris Doran. Oh, I don't believe that.
Look at how quickly he turns on this bang.
Yeah, he's spun on his toe.
11,
Get the ball down the other side. There, spun around.
Double point ball for Mr. Doran.
Chris's peripheral vision is so good. He sees the other player, which way they want to go, the balance, the direction they're travelling, whether they're leaning backwards or forwards, chooses the power.
Double point ball for Chris.
Is the double point ball. Another two for Chris. He's going for the kill. He almost grimaced before he hit that. He knew he wasn't quite in the right position. So that's a bit of a fail on the double point ball, Gavin.
And his feet jumped off the ground as well. As soon as you do that, it's a little bit more unpredictable. Power needs to go through the ground so that you can go forwards on the shot.
Yeah.
9-11.
Ground's the only thing you've got to push off. Whatever you're in the air as well, you can't change direction. Oh, I don't believe this. Forehand to forehand topspin. See Huang's backhand. The length of follow-through on Huang's backhand to get that one back. Now there, Huang stood up to Chris's pressure and standard.
Every right to celebrate that.
Well done, the Iron Man. Yeah, absolutely.
10-11.
Xiao, the Chinese coach, looking a bit stony-faced in the background, but Huang now is only 1 point behind. Is this scary times for Chris Doran? He's overhit it to the corner. He tried to go off the side of the table to get extra width, and he ran out of the table on the side. 12-10 Doran. But Doran, no more double point ball in this match. Dennis Neal studiously looking over. Dennis is virtually going to climb over, isn't he, and play it for him. That's the commitment, dedication, confidence that Dennis brings to Chris. Another one for Doran. He stopped the rock. Huang nearly got back to him, but Doran's pulled away again despite losing the double point ball.
13-10.
Huang just not quite in the right position. You see Chris there driving up on the ball, which was the right thing to do there.
Yeah, great upward motion through the legs. Good use of the floor there, using his power to push off the floor. Sometimes upwards, sometimes forwards.
Touched, I think.
That is so close to Chris being at game point. If you just watch, just hits the end of the table there. Chris has gone, look, point, it touched. That could have been 5 game points to Chris
Double
Doran.
point ball for
But
Mr.
instead,
Huang.
it's 11-13, and if he loses this point, it's level. Such is the importance, Tony, of the double-point ball.
Great time to play it, isn't it? Chris will be disappointed. Chris will be disappointed with that edge, and now he can level it all up in one go.
So exciting. He's back level.
Well, how brave are you to go to the person's strength as well? Serve to the Chris Doran backhand, that is brave.
Yeah.
13 all.
He's loving the challenge. And you'll see Huang now staring at Chris. Not with aggression, but just to puzzle out what's going on in Chris's mind, guessing what's the best thing to do. What are the risks to take? What are the risks to avoid? It's all about judgment. No!
Not again.
That hit the top of the net, but did it hit the edge as well?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that touched the edge.
14.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Unbelievable. So Chris pulled away, but because of the double-point ball success of Huang and 2 lucky points, Doran's game point down now. What a turnaround. And Chris misses the follow-up from the serve.
15-13.
Huang takes the first game 15-13. What a turnaround. He must be so disappointed. Dennis has got to turn that around in seconds.
Oh, he's got to lift Chris's spirits, because Chris seemed in total control. It was almost like, you know, what's Huang going to do to turn this around in the second game? And suddenly, Chris doesn't win another point, and it's 15-13 to Huang. Couple of lucky points, a well-played double point, and just great, stable, solid play.
Tell you though, hats off to Chris Doran there. Attitude-wise, he had a few nets and edges against him, but he didn't lose the plot there. I've seen him in previous matches get quite animated at that. He's not. Hopefully, he's going to stay focused for the start of the second set.
I'm sure he will. He'll know that he was in control of that one, and he'll know that if he stays in control of himself, he's got a good chance of being in control of this one too. So, plenty of hope still for Chris Doran. Chinese players delighted to come across and play at this championships. They're loving it.
Second game.
But there are only 2 Chinese left in. Huang in front of Doran now, and if he can defeat him, it will be Wang Shibo in the final. Sandpaper treatment from Huang Zhonggang. We're used to this now. He finds that the bat is a little bit sharp on its neck, so he just gives it a little bit of sandpaper so he doesn't chafe his middle finger. Because of course he hasn't played with this bat.
He's obviously not Scottish, you know, you got to draw blood at some stage during the match, don't you?
Well, yeah, you've got to do. You've got to do that just to show you're trying. Well, we'll let Huang just be quietly professional about it, Gavin. Big backhands from Chris. Huang keeping him tied down on the backhand. The balls they're able to block and the balls they're able to retrieve and return without playing a weak shot themselves is just absolutely phenomenal.
Just wondering if at some stage Chris might throw in a few back spins away from the table. He's so good at it. I think, you know, if he gets a few points behind, he may try and change it. Or at least play one, make Huang lift it and then counter that ball.
Well, it might be time for a change of pace. Until now, Chris has been dominant with the power. Huang's tuned into him a tiny bit. He's a game down. Is it time to just mix it up, even if it's only for 3 or 4 points?
Yeah, he may have been put off by how good he was against the backspin of Szymanski, but Chris can follow it up if he just lifts it, though. So it's a different game if Chris does it.
Huang was consistent against it. But what Chris can do that Szymanski can't do is hit his way out of trouble, and he did it there.
He's listening.
2-all.
Well, it's nice that we're tuned into Chris Doran and Dennis Neal, channeling their coaching style. But he's mixed that one up, and that's going to make Huang give him an extra thing to think about.
That was clever there. It would have been far easier to attack on the diagonal there. Took a little bit of a risk to go to the short side and blast the ball down the line.
Yeah, I think Chris mustn't settle with going fully defensive. He's got to mix it up.
I agree. Well, he'll be the most popular of popular winners if he gets this. So if he can settle and just get himself winning 55% of the points to 45, then he'll gradually pull away in this match. You can't guarantee any 1 point, but over a period of time, if you think you've got the right tactics, then you'll gradually pull away. Bagley showed that in many games. Doran has taken him out, and he's got to take up the mantle now of that power, consistency and variation.
And wouldn't you feel as well that at 43 years old, you're going to feel it a little bit physically as this game progresses?
Yeah, I was feeling it physically when I was 43, Gavin, and I'm feeling it now just watching. Maybe he's reached the limit of his endurance.
Well, I mean, Szymanski may have helped Chris because Huang had to hit a huge amount of forehands in that last round, and every one of those takes a lot of effort, a lot more than it looks.
So with an average of 10 shots per rally for Huang to get through Szymanski, he's had to play about 400 forehand attacks to get through Szymanski. That's going to tire him out. That's going to give the advantage to Chris Doran against the older man.
I could see Huang there just, you know, flexing a little bit, the hip flexors, stretching a little bit. So, yeah, maybe that's a good sign for Chris.
Let's hope so. Good length on that first backhand from Chris. Down the line again, twice. Huang's footwork good. What's Chris saying? I don't know what he's trying to tell us, guys.
I think he's saying, finally I managed to play down the line.
Oh, okay.
Get into the Huang forehand.
Without the other guy hitting the edge on the end of the table. So Doran back in the lead. Oh, that was a high backhand. That's the one that he's done across court. He catches so many people on. In theory, it should be higher, a little bit slower, therefore, and you can crack it. But just the change of pace just puts you off a little bit. Chris is going to have to use every ounce of intelligence to defeat this man tactically and mentally. He has mixed it up well the last few points.
7-5.
So he knows now that maybe he can't just blast him off. Towards the end of Bagley, he was playing so well with the power he could stick to it. But at the beginning with Bagley, it was the mixing of the shots that was giving Chris the success. And maybe he's got to go back to that tactic and just be a little bit more patient.
Unlucky, he saw Chris drive upwards, so it didn't quite reach the top of the net.
Both players understanding the spin so well.
Yeah. Chris just adding fades of side spin. 3 shots there, Chris Doran used side spin. 2 backhands with across the ball to take the ball away from the forehand, and then 2 forehands where he's curving the ball away from Huang's forehand.
6-8.
To do that under this pressure is absolutely masterful, world-class play. 8-6 to Doran. Huang, 2 serves to come. Huang plays into the crossover and gets Chris away from the table as a result. Szymanski struggled here. Great body shot.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what he did against Szymanski, wasn't it? When he got the opportunity to hit with power, hit it right at the body. And you see here, actually perfect placement.
And he probably wouldn't hit the ball as well if he hadn't had 25 minutes against Szymanski in the previous match.
Yeah, that's the downside for Chris. If he does play backspin, he's done those 400 top spins against Szymanski just about 20 minutes ago. Still, we'll see as the physical toll starts to take it on all the players in this championships.
It's where Huang's so clever, though, isn't it? Because against Szymanski, he just lifted the chops and took his time. He knows he can't do that with Chris, so he was going harder, more power right from the start, and not giving Chris that opportunity.
I feel now as well, Huang is starting to direct the ball a little bit more to the Doran forehand.
I think Chris is quite pleased to have got away with that one. Wow.
9-8.
Look at that release of energy. It's focused and controlled. When the point's over, the emotion floods out, and then he's got to regroup for the next point. Huang's backhand covers the wide backhand so well. Missed by a centimetre. Looks to the sky, but I think he's just got to look forward and stay focused. Few signals from Dennis Neal in the corner for Chris at this stage.
Well, Chris just slightly out of position there. Just need to move across a few inches to the right, and he would have made that.
Nothing in it. Who can get to 15? Slow ball from Chris. Off the net. Well dealt with. What beautiful control from the hand of Chris Doran.
He's absolutely one of the best players in the world at retrieving shots like that. You know, it's his understanding of spinning to stay calm. So many players, someone gets a net and you rush in on the ball.
You've got too much body weight behind the ball, you can't keep it short. But Chris did well, didn't take the point, sadly. Are we biased here? I think so. But all respect to Huang. Love the way he plays. Oh, and there's an edge for Chris Doran. He's celebrating the fact that he's got one. Huang says to Dennis Neal, I can't complain at that. He knows he's had the ride of the luck so far. And he knows he's just got to give that one in good heart. What fantastic sportsmanship. Coaches involved with the conversation as well. At last, does this mean we'll have a change? Chris wants the crowd behind him even more. Backhand down the line twice.
Brilliant, Chris.
Crowd are on their feet. Chris's belief is back. Can he worm his way out of this second game? Scrape to 15, go away, have a chat with Dennis Neal, and come back for a dominant third game. Place is erupting now. Chris is stuck away from the table, but coming in with power. Yeah, can you play that many shots hard without expecting to miss one? I mean,
11.
he just can't believe what Huang's getting back.
I'm sure they've got a normal table tennis rubber on both sides of the racket at the moment.
You can't do that with high friction modern rubbers. Never mind with the bat with no spin.
What was the rackets I was using?
We need a let there. Someone calling out from the crowd just after the server served the ball.
11-0.
So the umpire determining that's got to be replayed. The crowd getting too excited there. The idea is that we cheer in between the points, but you've got to be quiet again to let the receiver prepare for the return of serve. All. Bouncy serve. Chris dealt with it. Great backhand down the line. Huang is starting to soak up that backhand down the line now.
So close, wasn't it, this last backhand? I was convinced it was on.
11.
Painful.
Just took it just a fraction too early, though. Even for Chris's high level, he usually has the confidence to just wait for that ball to drop down to net height.
Just stepped out to it a little bit. Wasn't quite within his control area in front of his body. Oh no, taken out on that.
Great serve.
Yeah, and that wasn't the bouncy one, it was the flat low one, Gary, that you said is so difficult for all sandpaper players to recover
and
from.
the side and chop serve normally what would happen there is you lift it, you know, and you would get that ball on, but normally that, in this game, that's just going to quickly change the topspin and throw it into the net.
Well, for many reasons, I want Chris to get back to this, but I think the main one is just to give me another game of it to watch.
Yeah,
it's just incredible stuff.
Fabulous to watch. Get on with it. If someone's urging the Chinese man to come to the table, face what's coming to him from a desperate but keen Doran. He went for the third backhand on the trot, missed it by a centimetre wide of the forehand. I think Chris knows that he's playing as well as he can under the current circumstances.
I can't believe how many
11-14.
backhand Huang's getting back. I mean, Chris hits that backhand as hard as anyone in the world, without a doubt.
Yeah, so the quieter style is playing a little bit more consistently. 4 match points to Huang.
Let's serve.
The ball hit the net on the serve. They've got to take it again. Big backhand from Chris. Oh! Serve, follow-up, big forehand. Well, that's courage. After missing a couple of backhands, to come out with that follow-up from the serve, Gavin.
14
You've got to give
love.
Chris every credit.
So what is your tactic now to close out the game? Do you crash in another one of these fast, long backhand serves?
Well, first thing is to make sure he gets the backhand serve back. It's proved tricky. It's the low one. Huang's in and got Chris away from the table. Can Chris get back in? Yes, he can. You could see Chris nudging himself back towards the table.
So brave from Chris, wasn't it? I thought, oh, he's just going to roll this back on, stay in the rally. But no, hits with real power. Bang.
No room for hesitancy, Gavin.
Surely here you have to
14,
serve a
13.
fast, long serve into the backhand, run round blind, and hit a strong forehand. Let's see what he decides.
Bouncy serve. Chris dealt with it, he's away from the table. And Huang takes it. 15-13, 15-13. Chris Doran played a fantastic game, missed just a few big shots by a couple of centimetres. Huang's delighted, the Chinese contingent are delighted. We're going to have an all-Chinese final. Someone gets to keep the orange ball as a souvenir, and we will see you for the final after a break.